Welcome to Faith, Family, and Freedom, the show where we stand on truth, strengthen our homes, and fight for the future of our nation. Here to remind you that our faith is our foundation, our family is our first ministry, and our freedom is our responsibility. So grab your coffee, pull up your chair, and let's talk about how we rebuild these walls, one family, one community, and one act of courage at a time. Faith, family, and freedom, where your faith is what we're protecting, your family is what we live every day, and our freedom is our responsibility. And our Bible verse is 1 Corinthians 6, 9 through 20. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. And welcome back to Reclaiming the Temple, where our kitchen table becomes our pharmacy. So I'm really excited about this because I'm super crunchy and I like to use food as my medicine because I just don't like taking medicine if I don't have to. And you can do those things if you're doing everything else, living a healthy lifestyle, exercising, getting the sun, going outside, and eating proper nutrition.
So we're calling this Reclaiming Your Temple. And I just want to let you know I'm not crunchy. I'm not like him. I'm starting my Maha Mama journey. So if you have some Maha approved products, anything that you've tried that works for you, please put them in the comments. I'd love to try them. And I'm kind of learning as I go. And mostly just thought of husband here as kind of extreme on the health. And he's tried all the fad diets. With extreme precision, by the way. So here we are. We're going to talk about food is medicine.
Yeah, and what you were talking about before with all your concerns that we talked about, the keto diet, remember?
Yeah, so I was telling you earlier that when you were bringing up healthy fats, meats, in-season vegetables, and we did that keto diet before, and I was really worried about our health when we were on that. But you really liked it.
Yeah. No, the thing I like about the keto diet is that you get to grill meat every day. You get to use the grill to grill vegetables, so it's fresh vegetables, very good, and meat, and we get to grill. So I was super happy. And in doing so, like understanding the pathophysiology of the keto diet, or the carnivore diet, is that we're eating foods that our ancestors have eaten all the way up until that processed food. So back in part one, where I talked about my journey, where we had been doing all that until we became the Twinkie and Ho Ho family and got a little bit obese. What we didn't know is we were trading comfort and ease for health. So that's where we dig deep into the fats and proteins.
Yeah, so speaking of fats, my biggest concern, getting into my concern here, is that if you eat a bunch of fat, aren't you just going to get fat? Because you were making like little fat bombs. You were cooking everything in fats. And I was just thinking, like, am I going to get fat?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Some people are like, if I eat fat, I'll become fat. And so they trade it for carbohydrates. So to understand like the pathophysiology about all that, if I can actually speak anymore, is that when you eat fat, it's a clean source of energy. So you're eating bacon, that's a lot of fat, or you're just eating your steak. Your body utilizes that. It converts it to energy after you eat it and goes into your intestines, and whatever it doesn't use, it releases. But if you're eating some carbs, then you eat the carbs, it turns into sugar, which you can readily utilize when you're exercising, you're doing your thing. But the energy that you don't use, insulin in your body, likes to store that as fat. And so that's when you start increasing your fats. And as you increase your fats, if you increase it too much, then your fat cells say we're full. You're full of insulin resistance, and it sabotages you into this chronic inflammation.
Which is like, inflammation is like your kind of, I guess, what is that called? What system of your body? Your immune system, then?
Well, yeah. So you have to think about it I like to always say that we are human plumbing. So as we eat sugar, we increase the sugar content in our blood, which then it becomes a little bit thick. But if we can store that sugar as fat, then it thins out the blood a little bit more. And then we can use our blood to deliver oxygen, nutrients, all the minerals, all the way to the cells of our body, which is super cool. But if our fat cells are full and it's saying that I can't take anymore, and it releases insulin resistant enzymes and our insulin spikes and our blood sugar spikes, that actually decreases our overall function, causes inflammation within our body, within our arteries and our veins, also causes inflammation into our immune system, all the organs that promote our immune system, our bones and organs and everything. So it decreases our ability to stay healthy, fit, and resist disease and bacteria.
Interesting. So how does that work on a cellular level? I mean, help me understand, because we're talking about eating food, and the more carbs we have, the more we're storing that stuff. And then, like, I don't know, like more on a cellular level, what are we talking about here?
So on a cellular level, we need energy. And what is energy? What is the cell that delivers energy to our body, that creates it?
Well, I remember from high school, it's the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I always remembered that part.
Right. So if we are putting junk in, we're going to get junk out, right? We're not delivering that oxygen, nutrients, and vitamins and minerals to the cells of our body, but also to the powerhouse of the cell, which gives us energy. So we're going to have some chronic fatigue.
Wow. Interesting. So we're going to boost our mitochondria by changing out the foods that we eat. We're going to have more energy to get out and move, and we're going to be healthier in our immune system because of that. That's an interesting way. I didn't see this coming when we were talking about making food our medicine. I just didn't understand how that was going to work. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, and I pulled up a clip of Dr. Ken Berry. He's this rural doctor out in Tennessee. And just like we were talking about in part one with Dr. Troy, he also has big issues with the food pyramid. And he wrote a book called The Lies My Doctor Told Me. And we're going to cue that video up, and he's going to talk about the keto diet, carnivore diet, and how that is beneficial to your health.
So let me get this straight. There's no long-term studies done on these LDL reducing meds, yet the backlash that the big pharma, big food companies say about keto and carnivore is that there's no long-term studies.
That's exactly correct. Yeah. Also, there's no long-term data proving that the American Diabetes Association diet is healthy for diabetics to eat long-term. There's no long-term data supporting the American Heart Association's DASH diet, that it's safe for long-term human consumption. So people love to throw that, being critical about keto. Oh, there's no long-term data showing it's safe. What about your diet? Is there any long-term data showing that it's safe for daily consumption for years or decades? The answer is invariably no, there is none. And so that's why when I talk about an ancestrally appropriate diet, that feels to people who want all things modern, that feels like saying, well, we should just do things the old-fashioned way. We should just do what we've always done. But when it comes to biology, that's one of the few instances where that's exactly what you should do. You should figure out, first of all, what kind of a diet did our ancestors eat for millions of years? And you should eat that diet until it's proven unsafe with long-term studies, because obviously it's not too unsafe or we'd be extinct.
Wow, interesting to think about what our ancestors ate and how upside down the way modern society is portraying how we should be eating. It just totally makes sense now that we're kind of in a wonky world.
Yeah, we just watched with Dr. Berry that just what you eat can be medicine to your body, your soul, and your mind, and decreasing insulin resistance, decreasing inflammation, and really boosting that mitochondria that we talked about.
Then you won't need things like statins or metformin or different things that people are always having to take for these issues that are caused really by too many carbs.
Right. And that's why I want to encourage you guys to look at his book. And Dr. Ken Berry out in Tennessee has a lot of information that he can share with you. And that's going to tie it up at the end for this episode, because we just finished with that. But we're keeping them short and sweet just for you guys so that you can digest this on your rest break or whatever. And just we want to let you know that Faith, Family, and Freedom is here for you. We're not your doctors. We're not telling you what to do, but we do encourage you to reach out to your doctor and challenge the narrative.
And check out part 3, where we are going to dive into this at a cellular level and talk to you about the 3 top killers that are killing you right now.
If you were inspired by today's conversation, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with your friends, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and join the movement to restore truth, courage, and conviction in our communities. And before you go, take one small step this week to live out your faith in action. Whether it is praying with your kids at home, attending a school board meeting, or standing up for what's right, your voice matters. Until next time, I'm Author Gorman. Stay strong, stay faithful, and never stop fighting for your faith, family, and freedom.